Dudettes, we are back, baby. It has been too long. It has been a hiatus, and I hated it. I had a new phone that I was getting, and because it was brand new, I wanted to make sure that it was protected and safe and all that. So I went and I got a new case for it, and I got a new screen protector, and I got camera protectors and stuff like that. The case protector's not in yet, but screen protector and the camera protector are in, so we're good for now. Not going to do anything too crazy, no triple backflips, quadruple axles, nothing like that. We'll save that till at least Friday when the case is supposed to be in. But the exciting thing, the main thing that I wanted to bring to the attention today is our new comeback. We're finally coming back. And we have some exciting updates. I don't know why I'm saying we. I have some exciting updates. We as in like you and I. We have some updates to talk about. So update number one. This week, the week that spring is coming here, thank God, and winter is leaving, on the Thursday of this week. So pumped for that. Jack Reacher comes out with a new episode. Spring is here on Thursday. I've got my new book coming on Wednesday. I'm just pumped. Oh, I'm finally off work for the day. Finally. Oh my word, dude. I don't know how you guys deal with it or handle it or anything like that, but by the end of the day, I am dragging my ass to get done with work. But exciting updates. Got to focus. Got to get the ADHD out. I'm just so pumped to finally be able to go live again, and it's so awesome. But exciting updates this week. We're up to 2,000 calories a week. Or 2,000 calories a day, not a week. That'd be kind of crazy. So we're doing 2,000 calories a week. We're up to 20 grams of creatine a day. We're on day, let's see, I did Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we're on day 3 of 20 grams of creatine. We're cycling on to creatine, doing the loading phase. For those of you that don't know, creatine monohydrate is just basically it's what's found in steak, except it's isolated out. It's white powder. You take it. It's supposed to be good for brain function. Never noticed that. But it does help with muscular performance because it puts more ATP or adenoid triphosphate in your muscles, so you actually get more reps and more out of your workout whenever you get into it. You will notice some swelling. Probably your muscles look a little puffier, which is why they don't recommend a ton of it whenever you're like drying out for a competition. But during the rest of the time, it's fine. So I'm on 20 grams a day. I may have to bump it up to like 25 or 30. I've noticed that with the current brand of creatine monohydrate I use, you'll kind of notice once you play around with it a little bit more. But depending on the brand that you use, it feels more effective from certain ones. And I'm assuming that's just because certain ones are more pure. They have more creatine monohydrate and less filler in there. Now, as far as what brands have filler and which ones don't, the current one I'm using is from Bulk Supplements online. The previous one I was using was more expensive and it was a smaller amount, and I was getting it from a supplement warehouse store that was here oh, where was it? Build around, it was somewhere. It was around here in town, and I was grabbing that, but they shut down. So point being is the one that was local around here was way better, way nicer. The one that I got from Bulk Supplements from Amazon, I kind of feel like I'm taking almost double what I was previously to get the same results, which is wild. Because before I could take like a scoop or two and I'd feel great. And on this one, I'm taking 4 scoops to feel anything. 3 to 4 scoops before I feel anything, which is 15 to 20 grams purportedly of creatine monohydrate. But again, you don't really know for sure what you're getting from Bulk Supplements. I'm pretty sure it's like bottled and made in China. The other one was bottled and made, I believe, here in the USA. So a couple of different standards. Let's see what else. So those are kind of the 2 main things I'm doing differently this week for diet. As far as how I feel, I'm actually able to work out. This is going on my 3rd day of actual working out, which is fantastic. Oh, I haven't had 3 days in a row of actual working out in over 5 months because I have been recovering from hernia surgery number 4 because the first 3 weren't effective. So don't go to a shitty surgeon, guys. Don't go to a small town, and don't go to some place where they're like, yeah, we can do surgery here. Hand me the hammer, Bubba. I'm gonna stitch him up. Yeah, and they fuck it up is what they do. Bunch of fucking wankers. God, still pissed about that. But serenity now. We're focusing on the positive vibes. Namaste in the moment. Not thinking of the things that fucked up. We're doing the positive things. So, other positive things that are going on. I actually had a guy when I went in to get the phone, and if you were on this and you're watching, Johannes, thank you. You were fucking great. If you're not watching this, I wish you were, but I met a guy, his name was Johannes, really cool name, and I was just sitting there doing me, and he finally just like kind of comes up to me after I was talking about my injury, because he mentioned that he got put out of soccer because he like fucked up his meniscus. I'm like, dude, that sucks. Like, that really sucks. He's like, yeah, I basically blew up my meniscus like 3 times in a row or whatnot, so I'm done. I'm like, I feel that. I'm going on my 4th hernia surgery. It sucks. You know, your whole life gets upended. But it was a great opportunity for me, and I learned a lot of things, and I'm still thankful for it. I'm still pissed about it, but I'm still thankful that I had that opportunity. I probably would have been a very different person if I hadn't had that happen. Probably a much angrier person, surprisingly. But I had it happen, learned some things, and he finally just asked me, he's like, hey, he's all, how are you so disciplined? You seem like a very disciplined person. And I'm like, I try to be most of the time. And he's like, well, I want to be disciplined, but it's really hard. He's like, how do you get up whenever you fall down? He's like, I just don't feel like getting up after I fall down. You know, I'm like, I get that. I'm like, 3 steps. There are 3 things you can do, Johannes. And I kind of fumbled through them, but as I thought about it later on, I started concreting these 3 things. First thing you got to do, wow, this person is going feckin' slow. Damn. Bro, this is not one of the 3 things. Okay, well, I'm stuck behind this guy. He's going slow. So, 3 things. Thing number 1, you have to find something that scares you and that makes you angry about your goal. You know, picture yourself in 1 year, 2 year, 10 years from now, and you didn't do it. You didn't do the goal, and you are still living in your parents' basement, and you are still single, and you are still overweight, and you are still bald, and you are still ugly, and you are still just an average nobody that no one knows, no one cares about, and you're a fucking piece of shit, and no one gives a crap because you've never done anything. You didn't do the goal. You didn't do the thing. You know, you were just this worthless mass. And that's the scary thing, or the thing that gets you mad, and you're like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be worthless, poor, overweight, unhappy, single as shit because no one wants to be with me, Colin. I want to be Colin that's focused on his dreams, Colin that's focused on his goals, Colin that's ripped, Colin that's fit, Colin that's rich, Colin that's got so many bitches, but he doesn't even want to bother with them because he doesn't want to have to pick. That's what I want. I want that. So that's what I was talking about. You got to find something that frightens you and pisses you off. That's step number 1. Thing number 2, you got to find something that motivates you, that excites you. And what's up, guys, in the comments? I'll admit, I can't read all of them because I'm driving. I'm trying to be safe for you guys so you can still see the content and I can still bring it and we don't murder ourselves. So thing number 2, you got to find something that excites you about what you're doing, that you get pumped about. And for me personally, I wanted to do robotics. I love robotics. I know I'm doing a fitness channel. I like fitness as well, but I love robotics, man. That's my dream. I want to be the Dr. Aki from Metabots. I want to be the guy that's bringing robotics to the new frontier. I want to be the guy that's from Cyberpunk Edge Runners that has the mecha body. I want that so bad. I want to be Tony Stark. And to that end, what motivates me and excites me is cartoons. I love cartoons. I'm a big cartoon guy. And what I have at home right now is this picture of this cartoon robot that has a saying from the show, and it says, keep trying, don't lose hope. And I'm like, Okay, and I have that posted right in front of where my computers are at so that I see it every single dang day. And whenever I start getting burned out and bummed out, I always scoot down on my chair and I look up, and there's the poster right there. Boom! Pictures of the Metabots with the same every day. I get a little bit more excited about it, and that's how I do my focus and kind of reroute my mental patterns to be more positive, which is awesome. I'll read your comment in a second, guys. I see your post, and thank you for that. Appreciate that. And that's step number 2. You know, you got to find things that make you emotional and get you going. That's how you're going to get motivated. Thing number 3, you got to lie to yourself. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, you got to lie to yourself. What are you talking about? Yes, you have to lie to yourself. You have to fake it until you make it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's not a damn fucking thing wrong with that. Because right now, you're probably thinking, oh God, I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not fit enough. I'm not pretty enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't know how to do it. It's too hard. It's this, it's that bullshit. You have it. You are telling yourself those things, and it's not true. It is not true. That is a lie. You are telling yourself lies right now. If you ever said to yourself, I'm not enough, that's a fucking lie. That is bologna ham sandwich, cheeseburger fries, waffle undercooked salmonella right there. That is disgusting. You are enough. You got this. There's only one you. There's only ever been one you. There's only ever going to be one you. And if you can't do it, nobody can, because there's only you. You are the only one that can bring your gift to this rock in space. For God's sake, you are a ghost driving a meat-covered skeleton made out of stardust floating in the abyss. What more do you want? You are an amazing, incredible, special, perfect human being that can do things that nobody else can because they're not you. And I don't know how else to say that. You are the only person that can bring your dream, your vision, your goal, your passion to life. It's not going to be Marilyn Monroe that's doing your dream. It's not going to be Elon Musk. It's not going to be Donald Trump or Jeff Bezos or any other people that are billionaires and rich right now that can do it. They can't. They physically cannot do it. Only you can, which is why it is so important to go after your dream and go after your goal. And yeah, you'll fake it a little bit in the beginning. You may not be confident. You may not have a ton of belief in yourself, and that's okay. That's fine. The biggest thing is taking that first step. Take that step. And the most important step you can take, you know what the most important step you can take is? The next step. It's always the next step. And if you must fall, you will rise a better person every time you get up. And you will rise every time. And you will be a better person every time. And I know you will. Much love. So, those are the 3 things that you got to do. You got to have a way of rewiring your thinking, because right now, neurons fire in patterns. After they've figured out, oh, whenever I feel sad, I think about all the things that make me upset, make me a bad person. Now I'm going to go and stress drink or stress eat or yell at my family or whatever it is that you do to calm down, or, you know, go and dick around on social media for 3.5 hours. Whatever it is that you do, whenever you get pushed into that difficult position, your body does one of 2 things. It tries to cope, or it tries to find a way to push it off, procrastinate in any way it can. It's like, nope, I'm not dealing with that pain. I'm not dealing with that pain. And that's not something that I would recommend you do. I would recommend that you say, okay, this is hard. This is tough. But I can do it. I can do it. I got this. And that's a winner's mentality. And you can develop it through simple repetition and practice. And it will work. I promise you it will work. And that's the great thing about it, is the more you do it, the easier it's going to be. What I do is I have 5 questions I ask myself every morning, and whenever I start getting into a bad frame of mind. Typically, I get into a bad frame of mind in one of 2 places. Whenever I listen to sad music, or whenever I go to bed at night. I almost always had negative thoughts, and I would just sit there and I would depression churn. Like I was making depression butter, and it was awful. And finally, one night I was sitting there and I've been tossing and turning for like 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm tired of this. I want to go to bed. I'm sick of mulling over, feeling like a turd. Okay, yes, I fucked up. All right, big whoop. I want to go to sleep. And I started looking into ways to how to feel better. And I found this guy that said, you got to start rewiring those neural pathways. And to do that, you ask yourself 5 questions. It doesn't have to be the same 5 questions I have, but just 5 questions. My 5 questions are, what can I be thankful for right now? My car runs. What do I love right now? I love that it's almost spring. How can I have fun right now? Doing a live stream with my people. Boom. How can I stress less? Making sure I'm getting at least 8 hours of sleep at night, because I'm a sleepy boy. And how can I be more successful? By being consistent and doing my goals at least 3 times a week for 30 minutes. And I really got to dig in on that, but I've been doing it. And I've been getting better at programming and robotics. And lo and behold, I've been learning it. And oh my God, it's so cool. I went into this knowing nothing about it. I didn't know jack or squat about robotics. Okay, I'd taken a course in Python and a course in JavaScript, and that's it. Last time I touched a robot was when I was like 14 and we had a Lego robotics camp. And I went into this and I wanted to build this quadrupedal Python walking robot, and it was super cool. Didn't know anything about it. And I was like, all right, this is really advanced. I need to get a guide. And so I got a book and I started walking through the steps in the book, and it turns out the book doesn't tell you everything. The book kind of makes you struggle and learn, because the code in the book doesn't always work. And so you have to actually go in and do the research yourself, figure it out, and roll through it. And so I started doing that, and I'd push and push and push, go so long. And I got to the point where I had gone through, what was it, 8 or 9 of the 11 chapters, and I hit a wall. And I could not get through this wall. I could not, no matter what I did. And so I went back through and I completely redid the robot, overcame the wall, and then immediately hit another wall. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, all right, I'm at a little bit of a wall. I'm like, I'm going to pivot. And I pivoted instead of backing up. And now what I'm doing is I am actually redesigning the drivetrain for the robot, because it's something I wanted to do. So I took a toy from Goodwill. It's this big 4-wheel drive monster truck. And I took my little 2-wheel drive kit robot, and I'm like, we're going to hack this. What's up, guys? And so I'm starting to hack it, and I'm encountering problems. I had to redesign the drivetrain a little bit. And then I found out that the amperage it was drawing was a little bit too much. But I knew from previous examples where I'd gone in and I burned out boards and stuff, oh, this is what I got to do. I've got to change up this motor driver chip, and I got to get a new board, because it's either hardware or software. And I just kind of I was debugging my way through it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting through this thing. And then I found out, okay, it's drawing too much current. I got to do this. And then I started looking into how to communicate over serial from a computer to an Arduino. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fascinating. Because I didn't know how to do that. I had no idea how to do that. I've been looking at it for like 8 years. No idea. Didn't understand. Hitting my head against the wall. Ding, 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 ding. Put it off. And procrastinated. And finally I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to procrastinate anymore. And then it started making sense. I got fast internet. I started paying for it. And it was just like, oh my God, everything is starting to fall into place. And it's stuff like that you can do with overcoming obstacles. So, see your question, what am I talking about? I'm talking about overcoming obstacles and the 3 things you got to do for that. And I was kind of telling how my story, how I went from being this knucklehead expositron, just like a freaking knuckle dragger, to someone that can actually program Python, build robots, and is aiming to become a robotics engineer, even though I'm just a big bald bodybuilder. And it's so cool, because whenever that guy asked me, he's like, how do you keep getting up after you fall down? I'm like, you got to find something that scares you and makes you angry. You got to find something that excites you, and then you got to lie to yourself a little bit, and you got to rewire your brain. Maybe you're not confident, maybe you're not fit right now. Doesn't matter. I have 4 sayings that I say, and I have posted right in front of me every day. I see them on my work computer. And it is, I am so good at robotics. I am so good at flirting. I am such a quick learner, and I am so good at focusing. And I say those things to myself every day, and I've been getting better at them. Like, I have been. And that was historically things that I have had so much problems with. And I have been getting compliments at work. They're like, you have really turned around. Like, we don't know what you've been doing, but this project was perfect. You have been doing phenomenal. This is incredible. And I've had people ask me for advice on how I was disciplined. Me, the screw-up outcast that no one wanted to be around. They're like, hey, how are you so good at this? And I'm like, just brick at a time, building a cathedral, baby. That's how I'm doing it. And they're like, well, how do you get up after you fall down? I'm like, if I must fall, every time I will rise a better man. Every time. And I have been doing that. And it is so cool because I have been through so much shit in the past 4 years. And it is so nice to finally be getting better. And it's really, really nice. And I just wanted to tell you guys that if I can do it, you can do it. I started off in this whole YouTube channel thing with no followers. And I remember I was grinding trying to get to 30 followers so that I could do my first live stream. And now I'm at 120 followers. And I mean, I'm live streaming regularly. I'm posting regularly, and I'm doing the robotics, and I'm finally able to work out again. And the hernia surgery seems like it's finally working a little better. And it's just, it's really nice. It's really nice. And I am feeling better. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry, I got kind of emotional right there for a little bit. But it has been a fucking journey, man. It has been a journey. And I don't need to get into all of it right now, but I know you guys are going through your own battles, and you are going through your own shit. And I know that's hard. God, it's hard. But it's going to get better. And you are going to get better. You just have to keep taking the next step and be consistent with it and get going. You may be like, oh, I've got 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I got plenty of time. You don't. You don't have tons of time. It's much less than what you think. So you got to start now with what you have, where you're at, just doing what you can. I'm streaming off of my phone trying to grow my online business because that's all I have right now is a phone. A phone and like a $12 Bluetooth speaker that I have attached. Everyone starts somewhere. When Alex Eubank started out, he was working out in his parents' garage. When Gymshark started out, they were hand sewing clothing in their mom's house. Everyone starts at humble beginnings, but no one realizes that. They all just look at them after they've blown up like, oh, I could never be like Alex Eubank or the Trin Twins or Cameron Dukes or, any of those guys, but you can. And it's something that they tell you guys and that they've told me, when all they go online, you can do it. You just got to start. And then once you hit, your 30 people on YouTube, you can live stream. Once you hit 1,000 people on YouTube, you start making money. And once you hit 1,000 people on YouTube, then it's just up and up and up. And the same thing on TikTok. It's the same thing on Instagram. You have to grind for that first 1,000 people. It's hard. It's a pain in the ass. But once you get them, then it's just bread and butter, baby. Bread and butter. Easy as pie. Everything starts getting easier. It's like whenever you start working out, you're hurt. That first day, it's great. Second day, pain. Pain for like a week. And you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I working out if it hurts this much? I'm never going to lose the weight. I'm never going to be good enough for the guy or the girl that I like. I'm always going to be a fat fuck or a skinny piece of shit or whatever it is that you're afraid of. And I'm just wasting my time and money at this gym. But you're not. You're not wasting your time and money, because once you start going 3 times a week for like 30 minutes, and then it goes to 4 times a week or 5 times a week or 6 times a week, or whatever it is you're doing, and you've been consistent, then it's less about the destination and it's more about the journey. It's more about the path to get there. You know, you are not just doing it to lose the 30 pounds. You're doing it because you're actually starting to enjoy it and you're getting good at it. And damn, like, arms are starting to fill out and I can see my abs and holy shit, I had a girl ask me for my number the other day kind of stuff. And you start getting these little wins. And I'm not saying you're not going to have failures. I'm not saying you're not going to have flops. You will. But everyone tells you, oh, you need failure. Failure's a great teacher. But you need wins too. And whenever you start getting those wins, whenever it's less of a fight sheet of loss, win, loss, win, win. And then you start amassing those wins and you start getting them and it starts snowballing. And then all of a sudden, you're the guy that people are coming to for advice. You're the guy that's looking in the mirror that's the biggest, most incredible, sexy hunk in the gym. You're the person that people are like, wow, how did you make $1 million last year? And you're like, you know what? I just started and I just kept going. And every time I failed, I was like, okay, why isn't this working? And then I figured out how I could be better and I pivoted around that and I incorporated it in. The nice thing about failure is it shows you what's not working. And you're like, okay, this isn't working. What can work? And then you try a little bit, slightly different tweak. You know, maybe you're eating 6,000 calories a day and you're not gaining any weight. You're like, okay, well, let's try a little bit carb heavy and fat low. Doesn't work. You're like, all right, let's try a little fat heavy and carb low. Works a little better. You're like, okay, my body responds a little bit better to fats than it is to carbs for this. And then you know, maybe you try working out 4 days a week instead of, pounding out 5 days a week to put on mass. And you're like, all right, the lowered energy expenditure has resulted in me being able to bulk more effectively. And now I have a higher muscle to fat percentage. And then you can keep on pivoting and growing and improving and changing. And before you know it, you're a superstar. And it's awesome. And granted, I'm kind of in the start of my arc, I guess you could say. My gym arc has already happened. Whenever I started out, I was 150 pounds and I was skinny fat. I had a weird haircut. I refused to cut my hair and accept that I was bald. I am very bald and I accept that now. And I actually kind of enjoy it. It's nice. Now that I've got it figured out. And with that confidence, I've started applying that to other aspects of my life. I was like, all right, if I have to be consistent with the gym, I should be consistent with my learning. And if am consistent with my learning, I should be consistent with my online business and my social media accounts if I'm trying to grow those. And you take these things that you learn, and yeah, some of it hurts. Some of it is going to hurt. You will get scarred from your paths. You will get fucking bent out of shape. And there will be days where you do not want to be around, if you know what I mean. You don't want to wake up in the morning. And it is very hard. And some days you are anxious and you are angry and you are just frustrated with life and the world. And everyone seems like they're out to get you and no one seems like they want to help. And you're like, okay, fine, I'll do it myself. And you do it yourself. And sometimes you're like, you know what? I'm going to look out for myself and my goals. I have a right to be happy. I don't have to make everybody happy. I don't have to do all that stuff. I can do this my way, and that's enough. And sometimes you got to put yourself first. You got to be a little greedy, and that's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. Nothing. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the only person that is going to be there, guaranteed, come rain or shine, is yourself, is you. Okay? People are going to hate you for anything you do, and then they're going to hate you for anything you don't. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So you might as well just do what you want and be able to lay yourself down to rest at night and be like, I'm happy with myself. I am satisfied with how I acted today. And that is what I would encourage you guys to do. You have to find a way to love yourself at the end of it. You know, it's not about making your dad or your mom or your brother or your sister or your spouse or your cat or your dog or whoever proud. It's about you being able to lay down at night and be like, I'm proud of me. And that's enough. I did what I set out to do today, and that's enough. And that is a very big thing. And I didn't realize that. And I went through some very dark places whenever I was trying to figure out that truth. That ultimately, what it comes down to is what you can accept. You know, what you can live with. And if you can lay down at the end of the day and you're like, I feel good about my choices, I feel good about myself, and I am good with this, then you're good. Yep, then you're good. And that's the best piece of advice I could really give to you guys on that, is just find a way to hold up your own standards for yourself. And if you can do that, you can do anything. Now, guys, I love you. I appreciate the comments. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I will be live streaming here after I get done working out. I like to really focus on my workouts and really nail those things. So I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to do some stuff for myself, kind of like what I was talking about. So I will catch you around in about an hour to an hour and a half. And love y'all. Thank you very much. Have a great day.